Hey guys, my name is Tama Miyashiro. I'm one of the assistant coaches on the women's national team. And today we're going to talk about serve receive and specifically the eye work that we want our athletes to execute. Okay, I'm going to start with a couple questions. So, what are we looking at as passers? Okay, put yourself in the passer's point of view. What are you looking at right now? And now coaches, what do we want them to look at? Okay, so is there some connection there? Is there a gap there? That would be my first question, is how much do they know, or how can we guide them to some really good eye work? Because it's a huge component of being a really good passer, okay? The next question is, what is important? What is actually important to look at from the server? Okay, we can back it up. Do we know some history? That's really important. Are you playing a team that you just don't know much about? Okay, then you won't have the history. You're gonna have to rely on your eyes in live time. Okay, so what's important? There are different components of every server, and so I'll try to decipher which ones are important, which ones not so much. Okay, and then when are we looking at these different things? And hopefully we can get into why. And let's dive in. Okay, so this first clip, we are fortunate enough, we get to watch Karch serve our ladies, okay? So we have Morgan Hentz, one of our passers. She's on the near side in the blue shirt, and we're just gonna watch actually Karch. Karch is the focus because he's the one serving, and we're talking about eye work, okay? So I have a couple clips, a couple pauses, some guidelines on the slides, and so hopefully the goal is to just point out a few details, and maybe while you watch them, you can ask yourself, okay, what are my players looking at, and what do we need to look at, okay? So let's dive in. Here's the first clip. Karch is just hitting a nice, good serve. It floats a lot, as you can see. And so right there in the red circle, that is the space we want to look at. And you're actually trying to look at where Karch is going to contact the ball. So you kind of have to measure and see that contact, and you're going to look at that space, and you're going to start to get information. Okay, so now I have a yellow line. And the reason why we have that line right in the middle of the ball is one of our next steps for eye work is we need to pick a side. Okay, so imagine you as a passer, you're looking at a server, you see the ball come off his hands, and right on contact, you kind of draw on a line right in the middle of the ball, left or right. Okay, so again, that line is just to help us spatially determine which side is this serve going to go on. And we're looking at it in relation to our body as well. Okay, so is that going to come on the left side of my body or the right? All right, so that's that yellow line. Okay, and then we are going to see, now I have an L and an R, left or right. Okay, and I need to pick, as a passer, I need to pick one of those two. Okay, are we going to be perfect? No, the ball moves, right? And especially at our level with this Mikasa ball, it's going to move a lot. At your level too, the ball is going to move. It could change sides, okay? But we initially want to get an early decision. Now, I want to emphasize, early doesn't mean perfect. Early is just in relation to time. We want to see it right off his hand, right off the server's hand, and we want to pick that side in. And what's actually happening is our brain is trying to decipher, is processing this information. Okay, what side of my body do I have to start adjusting according to my really good eye work, according to this decision, okay? And I'm going to start to create some angles. Now, there's a very natural response time that we have to consider. So after you pick left or right, okay, our body in video, in replay, you're not going to see much movement. But after you a couple frames in, hopefully you see a body responding, okay? And what that could look like is maybe shoulders start to move, maybe their platform starts to create their angle, maybe their legs move because they're starting to shuffle or open up, okay? So as coaches, that's something we can look for, is when we watch video, we can slow everything down and see how fast was that decision made, okay? So we've got left or right, and we're gonna watch it off of the server's hand or Karch's hand in this moment, and we're gonna just track this ball. And we use track a lot, kind of in terms of like a GPS system where you're just honing in on what's happening, and it's a pretty intense look, but what we're actually trying to do is see the ball within the space. So we're watching it come off his hand. We're looking for a trajectory. Is that serve going up? Is it going flat? Does it have spin on it? And so we're trying to find all of this information based off of that contact point, okay? And we're watching this ball come in and seeing, okay, is it moving? And as you can see, Morgan is tracking that with her platform, okay? So we'll watch it again. We're gonna see it off of Karch's hand, off of the server's hand, and we're looking at this space around it, and we're trying to see hand contact, we're trying to see the angle of the server's hand, and we're trying to get information. Okay, so that is where our eyes are, and that's gonna get us really good information, okay? And ultimately, we wanna watch him hit it, and we wanna watch just that split second right after, because it's gonna help us pick the side, okay? So there are a couple components to that, and you might have to slow it down or pick it apart for your athletes, but if you can get that information and start to make some of those early decisions, left or right, then we're in pretty good shape, okay? And ideally, when that serve or that ball is about 5 to 10 feet past the server, so after contact, if we've picked the side, at least up here, we've picked the side, we're in really good shape, okay? And then as the ball gets closer to us, you're gonna start to see that movement, okay? So that's how we test, and as coaches, that's how we know if they've seen the right thing. That's our check right there, is what happens, how early does that player start to move? Okay, so on this slide, I have a snapshot, a screenshot of Jordan Larson serving. And the reason why I want to put this and show this to you guys is this is now a server. Obviously, we're looking down on the court, but this is what we want to hone in. We want to see contact. We want to see where that ball is in relation to Jordan's shoulder and hand. And so if you were to slow time down and really get a good look at the server, this is the big point. This is the important part of EYEWORK, is this contact, the server contact. Okay, so now that we've picked the side, there's another component, okay? Now we have to see depth of the serve, depth of the ball coming at us, and we're trying to track the flight of it, right? And so some of the things that we're trying to see, and that can help us with depth, is the trajectory, the height above the net. You know, if it's crossing really low, the chances are it's gonna drop. And to serve the ball really low to the net and it go deep, you have to hit it really hard, okay? So if you work backwards, you can help guide your players, like, hey, how far over the net is that ball crossing? What trajectory did you see it off her hand? If her hand's going up, chances are it's going deep. If the arm slows down, chances are it's going short, okay? So what we can do as coaches to help that, because it's really hard. It's a really tough skill to do and to master, but we can help point out those details to our players when they happen, okay? And the easiest thing to do is just stand behind the passer and you ask them the questions. What did you see there? Hey, what did you see off the hand? Where did that ball cross the net? What did you see from the spin? Okay, so you can provide this environment where not only are they working on this skill and working on their EYEWORK, but you're asking very curious questions and you're just trying to prompt them to have those in live time. And so it's really hard. It's really hard to see depth, and a little tip would be to encourage your passers next to them to help talk about depth, actually. And so if a passer next to the person that's gonna get the serve sees a short serve, then you're yelling, short, 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 and you can help them. Or if it's deep, maybe you're saying deep, deep, deep. So there's a lot of components, and you're gonna figure out what the best answer is for your team, for your age group, for your level, for the speed of serves that you see, and maybe you can even narrow it down to, hey, we see a lot of serves that are coming at this depth, so we're gonna prepare for that. Or you could play Russia and they like to serve USA short. And so you know all these little details, and you're gonna help your athletes with that eye work. Okay, so I have another short clip. Our passer Morgan is in the red shirt and Karch is serving again. And I just want you to focus on the flight of the ball. And so picture yourself as the passer, and I want you to just take a look at the serve, and you're gonna secondary look at Morgan and how she's responding to it. Okay, so here's an example of Karch hitting a serve and Morgan's just tracking it. She's making a really simple move, but her eyes are telling her left. Okay, she's making the decision left, and so you can see the ball goes off Karch's hand, the first one goes right, the second rep goes left, and so she has all these little moves dialed in according to what she sees in live time. Okay, so eye work, a really big component of serve receive, and ultimately, once your passers have a pretty good idea of how we're going to execute it, you can really hone in on eye work and guide their eyes, hang in there with them, making sure they're disciplined with their eyes. And what happens is, as a passer, when you feel pressure or you feel stress or something's going on, then you might skip a few steps or you might skip a step. So train it under stressful conditions if you can, if that's appropriate. Train it like that. Get a lot of live serves. Get serves that move a lot, and maybe have a little variety, making sure some servers are coming from 5, some are coming from 1. And so just give them opportunities for that randomness. Give them opportunities for all those variables so that they can come up with some answers. And again, we're just hoping that this is gonna help us be part of a second earlier with our angle, okay? So if we do a really good job with eye work, it's gonna help a ton of just being consistent and being good over time.